We're going to go ahead and take a look at the property list in the program. A property list is used to define the attributes of a part. Property lists are attached to categories, which in turn are used when setting up parts. You can attach up to 4 property lists to each category, and each property list can be assigned as many categories as you need. Then when you start to set up your parts and select a category for that part, you use the properties attached to that category to further describe the part. This allows you to better search for the specific parts you're looking for in the program when doing a ticket if you don't already know the exact part number. Some examples of some property lists that you might use would be glass thickness, glass color, edge size, manufacturer, just to name a few. Think of a property list as anything that helps better describe the attributes of the part in a category of goods. There are a number of property lists already set up. We'll start by taking a look at how to create a new property list, and then we'll look at how to edit an existing property list, also how to delete property lists that you're not going to use. So we'll start by going to POS, and then going to Properties, and opening up the Property window. As you can see up at the top there next to Properties, it says New, so we're already in New mode, so we can add in a new property. So you would give your list a name, and you would just type in that name. Then you would go into the property list area and type in the name of the first property. Then you would just go down to the next line, type in the next property, and so on until you get all the properties in your list that you'd like. Once you have the properties in the list, you can see that the order of the list is set to auto right now, which means it's going to put it in alphanumeric order. If I want, I can click on manual here, and now I can put the list in whatever order I want. All I need to do is put my arrow on the gray box, hold down the left mouse button, and then drag that property to wherever I want it in the list. And when I'm done doing that, just choose OK, and now the list is in that order. When I'm done making all my changes and adding everything to the list that I want, I can go ahead and choose Save, and now I have a new property list. To edit an existing property list, I need to search for that property list. That can be done one of 2 ways. I can double click the search icon, and then I get a list of all the properties, and then I would just go ahead and look through and find that property and either highlight it and then choose Edit, or I can double click on it and pull it up. The other way I can search is click once on search, and now up at the top you see next to properties how it says search, and then I type in part of the name and I click search again, and it either brings up that specific property, or if there's several that match what I typed in, it would put the several lists in the list area, and I would select which one. Now I can make whatever changes I want. I can switch this back to auto. I can delete an item out of the list by simply clicking on that item, and then up at the top here choosing delete item. And of course I can add more by just going to the next available line in the list and typing in, and then again just saving it. If there's a list that I want to get rid of, I'm not going to use that list anymore, I would just recall that list and then use the delete icon, and that will ask us to confirm we want to delete the entire list and all of the properties. And once you choose OK, now that list is gone. I mentioned before there are a number of property lists already in the system. Some of them such as say edge size, glass thickness. We can go ahead and look at those, and you can see they're already populated. So again, we may want to add more to this glass thickness list, or we want to maybe remove some. Before you get working on this list, probably the best thing to do would be to print out the report that shows what property lists are already in the system, so you have an idea of what's already there, and then you can decide what you need to add or remove from the system. So in order to do that, just go to Reports, POS, and then down to Property List, and then you can just print that out if you want to print that on paper, and then that way you can take a look at it, go ahead and mark it up, cross off the things that you want to remove, write in the things that you'd like to add to the various property list, and then it also gives you a look at what's there so you know what other property lists you may need to add. And as you go further into the tutorials and look at the categories and how to set up parts, this will probably all start to make even more sense to you as how to set these lists up. So maybe before you start working on them, you'll want to take a look at the categories and the part setup as well.